I have had a lot of questions and requests lately for a video tutorial talking about collage and how to use collage in altered books and art journals and other work, specifically how to combine backgrounds with focal points. And the answer is yes, yes, I can. But not today. It's actually a lot of video and I need to wrangle that together to do a good job. So today I'm going to show a process video that shows how I made this layout. However, what I will try to do is add as much commentary as I can about the collage elements that are here. Let's go. I want to start by talking about adding layers to your background. And this is the background of the page that I'm making today before I've added the focal points. Now, you can see that if you want to just have the text itself be your full coverage background, that's fine. It actually adds contrast and it's pretty charming and cool. But I usually like to add another layer or two, and there's a couple of reasons. One is that it offers texture and interest to the eye. But it also does something very important when creating a collage background in an altered book. It draws the viewer's eye across both pages. Now, you can see that if I just go with the text, I've got two really nice elements here. But they have an aspect of just being a page and a page. And I would prefer to have this be one cohesive canvas. And by adding a border, you draw the pages into one thing. And now you can see that with the same elements, you have more of a story or a narrative. And so I like to do that. It doesn't have to be sheet music. Here's an asymmetrical piece of a letter, or you could even use just text but in a different font, and that would look really good. Now, in today's piece that I'm working on, I used a fragment of an old ledger page. Now, when you're tearing, and I do like to rough tear, you want to make sure that you're tearing towards yourself on the side that you're going to use. This is the side we're not using, and it's got some of the white part underneath. But by tearing the part that we're using towards me, I don't have any of that white part there. If you prefer a clean cut image, you just get out that scalpel and start cutting. That's also a good look. Now, I want to, on this one, add a little bit of more aging, even though it's already authentically pretty old. And I'm doing that by using a blending tool and an ink pad. And I'm just inking up the edges here. If you do not have a blending tool, a makeup sponge will do the job just as well. They're pretty much the same thing. So no excuses, improvise. Now I'm going to add some focal points to the background layers. And before I do that, I want to give you the most important piece of advice about collage layout making that I can. And that is that you need to know it takes time. It takes a lot of time. This layout, which I must say is a good layout, took me the better part of a day, several hours. Why is that? Because I started with a blank page, a blank canvas, and I looked at dozens of elements. So we want a Madonna and a flower? Maybe we do. Here's one. Here's another. Well, let's see. Here's another with another flower. Is that the right one? I don't know. Is that? Actually, that's not awful. So I literally moved many dozens of pieces around on the board. Maybe I don't want a Madonna and flowers. Maybe I want a violin playing monk and some birds. And I have to tell you that I thought about this one long and hard. I really like this. In fact, you will be seeing this layout in a video soon, I'm pretty sure. But I ultimately ended up going with the iris and the little flowers. So having said that, you have to put in the time of moving the pieces around. Sometimes I get them down and then I stand up on my tippy toes to get a little bit of a different view. That's on you. But I can show you a couple of things that might help. This piece, this Madonna, could have gone in a lot of different places on this page, and it still would have been quite pretty and meaningful. But I decided to put her down here for a few reasons. It anchors the layout right here. And because her gaze is going up and outward, so will the viewers. They're going to follow what she's looking at. And what she's looking at are these beautiful flowers. But these beautiful flowers are also larger than life. They're bigger than she is. So for me, it kind of shows me that she's looking at something that's familiar and beautiful, but also somewhat otherworldly. And that is a theme that I work with a lot. Which brings me to the next part of this advice about taking time. The good news is that after you have spent many, many hours moving things around, you will start to know what your own theme, your own vision, or aesthetic is. Or to put it less fancy, you'll know what you like. I'm going to go glue these down now. Now my images are in place, and I am finishing the page by drawing an outline around every border thingy here with a charcoal pencil. I draw around it and then I smudge like crazy, and it really makes your images pop. At this point, I could just leave it. It's a very good page. Or I could go full tilt messy, as is my wont. But I think today I just want to add one more thing. And that is, I am going to take my little baby jam jar lid and some purple ink. I'm going to do a little bit of mark making here. I'm going to dip the jar into the ink and come over here and add a couple of little circles that actually kind of suggest almost like you set your teacup or coffee cup down and made a little bit of a mess. And remember when we didn't want to do that? So this is pretty much it. The truth is I will probably still work on it for a while, but that's the gist. If you like videos like this about book and journal arts, about collage and all things paper, please subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications. I also have an online newsletter that goes out every 2 weeks with video tutorials, free downloads, giveaways, and the occasional pep talk. So please subscribe to that. The link to the subscription for my online newsletter is in the text below this video. Let me know if you have any questions or feedback in the comments. I love to compare notes. Until next Friday, have a wildly creative weekend.